and welcome to the second episode of History from the Air. If you are new around here, I am a Kiwi showcasing the point of interest and general history of our beautiful country, New Zealand. Today our journey takes us to North Cape, which is roughly 30 kilometres east of Cape Reinga, which we featured on episode 1. We are again taking off from Waitaki Aerodrome. This is the only runway this far north of New Zealand. The flight plan today takes us north out to Takapau Bay. We then follow the coast around the De Seville Cliffs, out to the North Cape, then back down south, down Waikuku Beach, to the Parengarenga Harbour, and back west to Waitaki to land with a rough flight time of 24 minutes. We are flying the Cessna 172 Skyhawk today. This is a 4-seater fixed-wing aircraft, first flown in 1955. It was developed by the Cessna Aircraft Company. This particular model features the more powerful 160 horsepower Lycoming O320 engine, which is the perfect aircraft to showcase the winterless north of New Zealand. As we take off here, I'll be climbing to a rough altitude of 2,000 feet, heading north. I'll be free flying and just following the GPS. As we come up to Takapau Bay, we fly over the second highest hill in the far north region, known as the Pinnacle. Beside this is also Unawhau Pa, one of the many Māori pa in the area. These were defensive hilltop settlements that the Māori lived in. As we look out to the right, we have Takapau Bay, or Tom Bowling Bay, known by the Europeans. This extends out to the North Cape along Takapau and Waikuku Flat. It is not known why it was called Tom Bowling Bay. Some suggest that Captain Tom Bowling, who was a merchant sailor in the late 1800s, but other also suggests that it was what early whalers called a Māori man. Coming around Kerr Point, we make our way to the de Seville Cliffs. The first European discovery of the cliffs was made by Jean-Francois Marie de Seville in December 1769, when he sailed a ship the Saint Jean Baptiste to New Zealand to find a safe anchorage to care for his sick crew. He found them only a few days before they were seen by James Cook, who was making his way up the east side of the North Island. As we round North Cape, one of the 4 New Zealand Cardinal Capes that were named by James Cook, commander of the Endeavour in its 1769 voyage. The North Cape was once an island formed by a marine volcano. Sand deposited by ocean currents eventually formed a tombolo known as Waikuku Flat, which joined the island to the rest of the Aopuri Peninsula. The headland and flat combined now form the North Cape Peninsula. As we fly down Waikuku Beach, we will jump down and take a closer look at Malcolm's Nook. This was named after a brig that sailed from Auckland on a whaling cruise on 28th of February 1852, and on the 6th of March was totally wrecked near North Cape, one of the crew being drowned while attempting to swim ashore. The anchor was discovered in 1982 on the beach amongst the rocks in the northern corner of Malcolm's Nook. It is now sitting in the far north region in a museum in Kaitaia. As we look down the 30-kilometre coast of Great Exhibition Bay, the bay was originally called Sandy Bay by Captain James Cook, but was renamed in commemoration of the 1851 Great Exhibition. Though the reasons for this renaming are not clear, the Maori named the bay Pukarau, which simply means north. As we look out across the Paringaringa Harbour Inlet, the harbour was an important location for the Carigum digging trade in the latter 19th and 20th centuries, as some of the highest quality Carigum could be found around the harbour. The Paringa Gum Company was formed to harvest this resource. Carigum had many issues. The Maori used it for chewing gum, a fire starter due to its highly flammable properties, and as an ink when burnt and mixed with animal fat for the traditional moku, whereas the Europeans used it for varnish. Between 1820 and 1900, over 90% of kauri forests were logged or burnt by Europeans. Just across from us we have the Kokoda sand spit. This provided a source of high purity silica sand for glass making. Dredging continued here until 1997. While smaller or lower purity deposits are found elsewhere in Northland, the Parianinga Harbour holds the region's largest silica sand resource by far. We fly across the many channels and inlets that make up the harbour as we come back around to land at Waitiki. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you've learned something. If you have, leave me a comment and a thumbs up. It's subscribe to tune in next episode where we head further south to the Karikari Peninsula and Doubtless Bay.